I was wiping fingerprints off the break room mug when the voicemail light blinked again. It was from my supervisor. Eastview Community Center, night shift. After hours. I never answer unknown numbers. She didn't leave a normal voicemail, just a breathy pause like she was reading. My name, my address, my mother's phone plan. I'd been living on stale coffee and borrowed time for months. Apex Solutions kept nudging me like a metronome, polite and sharp. I owed the clinic across town. I owed rent. I owed myself an apology I kept postponing. At Silverline Logistics, the office lights buzzed even when the power dipped. I told myself I was only an assistant in the compliance annex. Forms, corrected dates, keeping things tidy enough that everyone else could sleep. Then, the discovery came in the least dramatic way possible. A box of returned keys from volunteer storage, mislabeled with a small slip of pen. I matched tags to a spreadsheet, slow and careful, until a note slid out behind the laminated card. Do not issue replacement for volunteer ID cards on Thursdays. It had a date. Last Thursday. My pulse turned loud in the fluorescent hum. I checked the internal system. The key return request was tied to a familiar name. Rena from the front desk, the one who carried extra blankets for the winter drive, the one who smiled at toddlers and asked seniors how they were feeling like attention cost her nothing. Her access history wasn't random. Every Thursday, her log overlapped the hours the storage room should have been open for volunteer onboarding. Every Thursday, ID cards weren't issued. Vulnerable people who needed emergency supplies had to wait longer, refilled forms again, and were redirected elsewhere. I'd heard it once before in the parking garage. Rena talking to a man from a private firm, only seen on contract posters. Her words were smooth, practiced. We do not create delays. We manage them. Now my thumb hovered over send. If I reported her directly, I'd lose my hours at Eastview and whatever health coverage I still had through the center. If I stayed quiet, the people who showed up with cracked hands would keep being told to come back tomorrow. Another Thursday, another empty promise. I imagined the chain reaction, the call to my mother, the landlord's letter, her face when my voice shook and she said, "You promised you would handle it." And I imagined Rena finding out I knew. No yelling, no threats. Just that controlled look in the break room, like I was a stain she could wipe off. My hands trembled against the counter. The dark fridge glass showed my pupils blown wide. I could hear the vending machine hum, as if it approved of my silence. I didn't call the hotline. I didn't confront her. I copied a packet first. Key tag logs, the mislabeled box, the Thursday note, the access overlap. Then I found the one person in leadership who trusted paper trails, not feelings. I wrote a message that sounded harmless, a correction request, not an accusation. In the same minute, I slid the original note back into the folder, aligned exactly like it had been. Delay her just enough to keep the evidence intact. When I clicked send, the room felt like it tilted. My ears rang. I tasted metal. The building didn't react, but inside me everything sprinted toward impact. I watched the red receipt like a heartbeat. No reply for 15 minutes. In the morning, a door closed with soft finality. Rena passed me on her way to the volunteer room, carrying a mug with a chipped rim. She paused like she almost meant to ask something, then kept walking, polite, untouched. In the break room, I tried to drink my coffee. It tasted like the same stale cup from last night, just renamed. She didn't speak. She gave me an ice-cold look, careful and measured, like she was deciding how much I understood. The fallout wasn't cinematic. No sirens, no arrest, just quiet consequences. My access was restricted. My hours cut. A meeting appeared on my calendar with words like reassignment and review. They let her keep her volunteer schedule. They removed me from the annex under the pretense of safeguarding procedures, as if my involvement was the hazard. I filed the corrected packet anyway through the official channel and waited for someone to care enough to act. Days passed. The program adjusted. Thursdays still mattered, but people stopped asking questions out loud. Here's what I learned, the quiet punch that sits in my chest. People do not always hide evil with masks of hate. Sometimes they wear concern like a name tag and call it service. I thought I would expose a monster. I found a system that rewards careful delay. I do not sleep well anymore, but at least I am awake while it happens.